The Ethekwini Municipality says that it understands public interest in the matter relating to Councillor Muzimuni Ngiba and his absence from council duties should have been speedily finalised. However, in terms of the Code of Conduct for councillors, there is a defined process that must be followed, failing which the municipality could open itself up to a legal challenge. So, now, this comes after the municipality's opposition parties raised concerns after it was revealed that Councillor Ngiba is still receiving his salary. Now wait for it, this is almost a year while in jail, awaiting for his trial for allegedly orchestrating the murder of his predecessor, Siyabonga Mkhize. Now, to get more clarity on this matter, we are joined virtually by the DA's Ethekwini Caucus Leader Thabani Mthethwa. Just a quick one, before we hear from Thabani, we need to note that we did invite the Ethekwini Municipality Speaker, Thabani Mthethwa, but he was not available for this discussion, hence his absence in the conversation. But it's good to have you on the program. Thanks very, very much for joining us here on the program, Thabani.
Good morning, Leon, and thanks for inviting us.
So let's unpack this story now a little bit more. The Ethekwini Municipality has said that in terms of the Code of Conduct for councillors, there are several steps that must be followed in instances of misconduct involving a councillor, such as this chronic absence from council meetings. The steps include the Speaker writing to the councillor, giving him or her an opportunity to state his or her case, among other steps. This has been done. Why do you feel that more should be done at this point?
Well, just by way of background, as the DA, we became aware of Councillor Ngiba's incarceration. That was last year around June, July. And immediately we wrote to the Speaker to say, now that it has been confirmed that Councillor Ngiba is arrested, what steps are you going to take? But from where we are, we think the charges he's facing are of a serious nature that your office needs to act speedily. What we expected was for the Speaker to follow due processes in terms of dealing with the Ngiba matter, to which he has not done. But equally, because a councillor is a politician, a councillor was elected on a party ticket, that being the ANC, we expected his party, the ANC, to act in the best interest of the party. So both the ANC, his party, and the Speaker of Council have not acted in terms of what they are expected to by members of the public.
Let's talk money here. How much is the councillor actually being paid? Even though he is incarcerated at this point, what is his monthly salary to date? How much has he been paid?
Look, he is getting all the benefits of being a councillor, and I would imagine that almost a year since he was incarcerated, he has been paid to a region of plus minus R500,000.
R500,000 is what he's been paid. What are the other benefits that he's receiving, even though he is behind bars awaiting trial? What else does he get in terms of benefits?
Well, that amount that I'm estimating is inclusive of all the benefits, be it your medical aid, your traveling allowance, and all of that. So it is inclusive of everything that he is entitled to get as a normal serving councillor.
So that's about 54,000 Rand a month is what he's getting, excluding these benefits. So now we talk to the actual situation, and we highlighted these rules quite clearly, saying that if you miss council meetings, this is one reason for dismissal from the council. And that it should be a case that he's missed them for a year now, the councillor. He hasn't attended any of these because he's been incarcerated for the alleged murder of a former ANC ward candidate, Siyabonga Mkhize, and this was on the eve of the 2021 local government elections. So let's talk about this. I mean, he's broken the rules. Surely that's grounds enough to stop paying him.
That's correct. There has been, in our view as the DA, a serious lapse in the Speaker's office, because even before the end of the year last year, I mean, the process should have started, because he already had missed 3 meetings. So the process of referring him to the city's ethics committee for investigation and subsequent recommendation to council should have started long before the end of last year, which obviously did not happen. But as the DA, we didn't just sit back and wait for the Speaker to act. Early this year, we raised this question, which are on council records, to say what is the status of Councillor Ngiba, and the answer to that was that the Speaker is dealing with the matter. We took it further. We asked our representatives in the provincial legislature to take this matter up with COCTA, which they did, and they wrote back to us to say these are the answers from COCTA. We are here where we are now because of our persistence to the Speaker. As late as last month, we raised the same question to say, what is the status of this councillor? Is he actually getting paid? To which the Speaker confirmed. That is why we are where we are, because as the DA, we did not rest. We made sure that the Speaker is held to account for his inaction when it comes to Councillor Ngiba's non-performance of his duties as elected by the public.
Yeah, and at the same time, he was, or still is actually, the councillor. I mean, he's the councillor of Ward 101, if I'm not mistaken. That's the councillor. He is there. Ever since his arrest, there's been nobody that's taken over that position. So this particular ward doesn't have a councillor and hasn't had for the last year. Is that correct?
Other than him getting paid through the ratepayers' money for doing nothing, our main issue really was that people did elect him to serve them. He's not performing those duties. Of course, there is a DAPR councillor there, Councillor SABC, but Councillor SABC was not a directly elected councillor by members of the public. We would expect that a ward councillor elected by the public would be there to serve them. In an event that that councillor is, for whatever reason, is incapacitated or in jail, as the issue is right now, you would expect that that matter would be speedily resolved so that members of the public are not compromised by the fact that this councillor is in jail but enjoying all the benefits that are enjoyed by all other serving councillors. I'm
just finding it so difficult to understand this because so you've got the councillor who is, I'm saying the story 3 or 4 times because I'm trying to understand it and hoping viewers can also sort of follow the train of thought here. He has been in jail for the last 11 months awaiting trial for murder, not of just one person, but of 3 in total. He's getting full benefits and a salary, which is over R500,000 rand. The council that he's meant to be looking after, the ward, has got nobody representing it. And yet the response from the ANC, and let's talk to this, is that from what I'm hearing from them, they're saying that the step aside rule does not apply to him because he's not guilty. He's still awaiting trial. So they see him as innocent and they shouldn't get rid of him for the job because he isn't guilty as yet. I mean, the man is in jail at the moment and nobody's serving the people, and yet he's still being paid. So what else have the ANC told you in terms of actually replacing him and stopping it and moving with the process? What are the rules within the party? Do you know? Have they spelled those out to you?
Well, let me respond in 2 parts here. We, as the DA, have undertaken a process, internal municipal process, to make sure that there is action against this councillor. We have already submitted this morning a motion to the Office of the Speaker to start a process of removing. Obviously, that would have to follow a process of him being investigated by the Ethics Committee, and subsequent to that, the Ethics Committee would have to make a recommendation to Council. So that's the process that we've already started. But obviously, we can't leave the Speaker out of this. He also has some accountability to take in terms of why he didn't act on time. We're also bringing a motion for the Council to investigate what the Speaker did or did not do. But in terms of the ANC, I can tell you now, if this was a DA councillor, the DA would have almost immediately acted against the councillor. I think the ANC, true to themselves, thought that this councillor can reap all the benefits of being a councillor but sitting in jail, and they hope that the opposition parties, members of the public, will just let this one go. I think they did not have the interest of the people at heart, because in instances like this, where a councillor is facing such serious charges against them, you would expect that their own party, the ANC, would act in the best interest of the public, but to which they didn't do. As I said, if this was a DA councillor, I can almost guarantee you that the DA would have removed that councillor immediately, so that there would be a vacancy declared, so that a new councillor is elected to be able to serve the public that are so in need of municipal services. So
the wards are Manor Gardens and Mayville. So these are the wards that Ngiba actually is the councillor for and represents. When can we expect a word on this? Because what is the state of this ward? I mean, from what you know and what you see, I mean, in terms of service delivery, obviously we've touched on that, but I mean, this must also go against every form of ethical leadership.
The ward is mainly, excuse me, informal settlements. There's a big part of the ward that is informal settlement, but obviously Manor Gardens, Carrington Heights are formal housings. The most part, I mean, there you have almost every day electricity outages prolonged, water outages prolonged. So there's no one really to sort of on a day-to-day basis look after the interests of the people. But obviously, with that big part of it being an informal settlement, you would expect that there would be a councillor that looks after that. I can tell you now, if you go to that ward, the garbage has not been collected. Everything is just haywire. So I think the people in that ward are feeling the brand of not having a leader, an elected leader, looking after their interests. So yes, members of the public are severely compromised by the inaction of the Speaker and the inaction of the ANC to deal with their member who is in jail.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the facts are in black and white, and I'm not even looking at policy within the ANC. I'm looking at council rules, and you've spoken to them, and we have spoken through them, and so that's why it's even more difficult to understand how he can still be in that position, because the rules specifically state that if he is missing at least 3 meetings, he should be removed, because that is, how many meetings do you know that he has missed in these 11 months that he's been incarcerated?
I would say probably 22, because council committees meet once a month, and every month we have a council meeting. So the minimum of 2 meetings per month. So, I mean, that person should have been removed long before the end of last. In fact, he should have been removed just before the end of July.
Yeah, so that's 22 meetings, and the rule stipulates if you miss 3, you should be moved out of that position. But he's missed those amounts, and obviously because he is behind bars. Do we know when his trial will be coming up? Have you heard that? Have they given you an answer with regard to the future?
Look, I'm not sure when his trial will be coming out, and frankly, that's the least of our problems. If he's charged, he must face the music. What we are worried about as the DA is to make sure that firstly, he does not reap the benefits of being a councillor while sitting in jail. Secondly, we want to make sure that the people of Crest, the people of Mayville, people of Manor Gardens and Carrington Heights have got an elected leader that's going to look after their needs. That's where we are as the DA. As to whether he's in jail for 20 years, we really don't care. If he's found guilty, he must face the music. But what we want to see happening is that as soon as possible, a vacancy is declared there so that there would be a by-election to elect a new councillor.
Then just finally, I know that the Speaker has said that he is going to be updating the House within this month. Any news when? Are we going to hear anything? Have you been given any indication whatsoever?
The Ethekwini Council meets once a month, and we expect that towards the end of this month we'll again have a council meeting wherein the Speaker does give regular reports. But really, we're no longer interested in just reporting as to where the process is. In fact, we want action to say when is this councillor going to be declared incapacitated, when is this councillor going to be removed, because as it stands, really the people who are suffering in this whole thing are the people of Ward 101. So we're not interested in his updates. He should have given that long before we got to this. All we need now is a vacancy to be declared, but obviously following due processes. All
right, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much for talking to us here on the programme. That, of course, was the Democratic Alliance's Ethekwini Municipality Caucus Leader Thabani Mthethwa. He's talking to us about why it's taken more than 11 months for the council to cease salary payments and suspend the ANC councillor Muzimuni Ngiba after he's been held in police custody without bail for the alleged murder of Siyabonga Mkhize. Well, we're hoping that we will have the Speaker who will oblige us on our invitation and come and speak to us so we can get more of an update on that one.